Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Between Friends. I'm excited to be here with you today and share my love of embroidery with you. As always, we really enjoy showing you all the things that we're working on here at Dime and what. We're doing with our embroidery because I know you guys love it too. So, I'm Ashley Jones and I'm hosting today. So, you guys normally see Eileen, but she is on part of her vacation. So, I am here in place. So tell me over in the chat where you're watching from and tell me what you're working on. Tell me what you're stitching. So I just saw some of you guys a couple of days ago on Tuesday. And so I saw some of the things that you guys have been working on. But tell me over in the chat what you're stitching for the holidays. So can you believe we only have 1 week before the actual big day? So all the work we put into it and then it's over in an instant, right? So, but it's worth it seeing all the smiles on everybody's faces. So today we have, a great topic. But before I share that with you, let me just say hello to some of you guys and give everyone a chance to join us. We have a new product today I'm excited to share, so I don't want to jump the gun. So I want everybody to be here when we start to announce. So, and as always, I love seeing all of the familiar names and faces. Thanks for being here, Retha Ranke from Wyoming. So good to see you. We've got Rhonda Martinez from Texas. Is that Bouverdi, Texas? Good to see you, Rhonda. Thanks for joining. Linda Johnson. I know she's also in Texas. So thanks for being here, Linda. So Pamela from Michigan. Glad to have you here. Our friend Reen Wilcoxon from Chile, Indiana. I bet it is, Reen. So I won't tell you my temperature. So it's pretty warm here in Florida. Caroline also. So from sunny South Texas. So thanks for being here. Tina, thanks for joining as well. She says she's watching from West Georgia. So thanks for being here, Tina. And so Cheryl Johnson, she said that she's made several freestanding projects this Christmas. And I am with you. It's such a great type of embroidery for the holidays. And I've got some examples that I'm going to show you exactly why I like stitching freestanding lace for the holidays. So Linda says she's been sewing on Christmas 2027. So I'm not behind schedule. Oh my gosh, Linda, you are my inspiration. So I definitely would love to be that far ahead. So thanks for joining, Laurie. I know Laurie's busy too. So you guys know Laurie, she's part of our education team. So Anne, thanks for being here as well. Cindy, so good to see you. And she's saying hi to Laurie. I love how everybody gets to know everybody. Debbie from upstate New York. I used to be in Watertown, Debbie. So, and we've even got Roy here. Thanks for being here, Roy. Good to see you as well. So many members of our Dime team. Love sharing this with everybody. Randy, thanks for being here from Michigan as well. So, okay. So now that we've given everybody time to join, I think our number is kind of slowed down for everybody that's jumping in and joining us today. And if you are a little bit late, you certainly can watch the replay. These are always stored on our Dime YouTube channel. So let's talk about what our topic is for today. Some of you guys have already mentioned, but today we are going to be talking about stitching freestanding lace. And so freestanding lace is definitely something that I really enjoy stitching, and it is a really easy project. So if you've never done it, it is one of the easiest things that you will ever stitch because it doesn't require hooping a product, only stabilizer, which we're going to be talking about. But freestanding lace, there is one challenge that I can think of with freestanding lace, and sometimes our outline of our lace does not line up, and then your lace might fall apart, like you see in that bottom image there, how we've got some areas that did not connect with the outline. So we have a new product we're going to be talking about today, and I'm excited to share it with you because it solves this issue. So when you're stitching freestanding lace, it's usually very stitch intensive. The number of stitches in a freestanding lace design a lot of times is on the upper end of our stitch count. So it really pulls on our stabilizer. And when you get that pull, sometimes your stabilizer will kind of shift in your hoop and kind of pull through your hoop a little bit. And then your outline may not line up. So you guys know that Dime is always coming up with solutions to any of your embroidery challenges. And this is definitely one of them that fits the bill. And I'm going to share it with you. So I'm excited to be here. So if you have stitched freestanding lace before, you're going to love some of the inspiration that we're had, but you're also going to love seeing this new product. And if you're new to freestanding lace, don't feel left out. I'm going to walk you through the steps so that you understand the entire process. So we like to include everyone here in our Between Friends. Okay, so let's start with some inspiration. So what can you do with freestanding lace? So tell me over in the chat what types of things that you have created that are out of freestanding lace. And I'm going to share some with you that we've created here at Dime, and also me personally. So I think what got me started on freestanding lace was actually ornaments. Freestanding lace makes fantastic ornaments because it is an embroidery design that is freestanding like these snowflakes. You can just simply add a little hook at the top and some ribbon. And in this case, we actually stitched several together to make an ornament. On the left, we put an ornament inside that Christmas bulb, so it looks like the sleigh is on snow. And you can also attach freestanding lace to other items. So we use these little mini pie plates to add the lace there, but you can also attach it to garments if you want, bags. It's a really great use of all of your embroidery designs. So, and then another great use of freestanding lace is jewelry. I love it. I have on freestanding lace earrings. It's a great way to decorate yourself while you're decorating your tree. And we do have some really beautiful freestanding lace when stitched with metallic thread. So it gives the appearance of metal and it's just thread. So it's so lightweight. So that's another great use. What about decorating your tabletops? So the freestanding lace, cute little napkin rings, and these cute little cone trees are just created and put a little battery operated tea light underneath just to embellish your tabletop. So you can put it in your entryway or in the center of your table. You can also use freestanding lace to embellish your gift bags. If you've got some plain gift bags that you wanted to use, but you really felt like they needed a little more pizzazz, you can use your freestanding lace to add some cute little charms or maybe decorate the bag like you see there as well. Also, I have made a gift card holder out of freestanding lace as well, and the three-dimensional bow that you see there. So lace can also help you with your gift packaging, which we definitely need this time of year. But hey, gift giving season runs year round, right? So we've got birthdays, we've got Valentine's Day, we've got weddings, graduation. So lots of reasons we give gifts. And so those are some great reasons why. So okay, so if you have never stitched freestanding lace, again, like I said, it is the absolute easiest embroidery project you will ever do because you just stitch it on stabilizer. So a freestanding lace design is specifically digitized to hold together without any fabric once you rinse that stabilizer away. So if you're stitching a design that's not freestanding lace, there's a high chance that it will not hold together when you rinse away the stabilizer. So when we're stitching freestanding lace, we stitch on a water-soluble stabilizer, and it's a specific one that we use. It looks more fabric-like, so it is woven. And the reason we use that, because it will stand up to that high stitch count that we were just talking about earlier. And then once you stitch it, we usually just trim away the excess stabilizer around the edge, because since it dissolves, I like to throw as much in the trash as I can, and then I'm only dissolving what I need. And we'll talk about how to get softer lace versus if you want a stiffer lace coming up too. I've got a couple of tips on that as well. And then once you rinse it all away, and in this case, this is a layered little flower. And so then you layer your flower and you've got this freestanding embroidery, which is really cool because you can do all of those things that we just talked about. And I bet that we can do many more things. So you guys may have also said some things in the chat that I didn't show in my pictures. So it's really, really easy to do. Okay, so when you're stitching freestanding lace, we use our Exquisite by Dime Sew and Wash Stabilizer. And you may have a different brand that you're working with, but it's really a mesh type water soluble. That's what you're looking for. And that mesh type, it feels like fabric in your hands. It doesn't feel like a wash away stabilizer, but because of the way that it's created, it is extremely sturdy and will stand up to designs that have a very high stitch count. We don't want something that is like our plastic film that's going to puncture and then your design fall out before you're done stitching. Okay, so this is really the type of stabilizer you want to use. Now, believe it or not, even though it looks like fabric, it does rinse away completely once you're done stitching your design and you rinse it away. So, and I've got a little video that shows you exactly how that works. Okay, so now thread, you can use any of your embroidery thread, whether it's 40 weight or 60 weight. If you use a design that's digitized for 40 weight, it will be, just your normal lace design. And if you use a 60 weight in place, 60 weight thread is a thinner weight thread. So you can have softer lace by using a thinner thread. It basically just gives you a little more space between your stitches, so it feels much softer. So if you're making like bridal lace with your embroidery machine, I definitely would recommend using like a 60 weight thread with that. It'll give you much softer lace. But you can also use variegated thread. You can use metallic thread, and I definitely recommend matching your bobbin with the same exact type of thread that you are going to be using in the top. So your same color, same type, if you want it to look the same on the back as it does on the front. So, and your bobbin, you can use your regular embroidery bobbin, like if you're using white thread on top, you can use your regular embroidery bobbin, but most often we wind a bobbin with the same color thread, so it's going to be the same weight top and bottom, but really either one of those will work. So okay, so now if you have never done freestanding lace, here's a little short video that shows the entire process, because I also wanted to show you how easily that stabilizer dissolves. So I've got my thread with my matching bobbin, and in this case I'm using 40 weight. I've got my sew and wash stabilizer, which is a woven type stabilizer. And I usually do 2 sheets unless it's a very light density design, but 2 pieces of the stabilizer, and then put that in our hoop. And then your design, once you start it, most freestanding lace designs are single color. So you literally just stitch the entire design and until it's done. Okay. And then once it's all done, you're going to remove it from the hoop. And this is where I trim away the excess stabilizer here. So this just means I don't have as much to dissolve. And I cut, as close as I can without snipping my threads. And then we're going to dissolve it. Watch when I drop that in the water. You could see that it almost instantly dissolved. And even though I did kind of a time advance there, it really only takes like a minute or so. Not even a minute. I would say less than a minute for it to completely dissolve. And then you just dry it. I usually use like a lint-free towel to just soak up some of the water out of it. And then if you need need to reshape your lace, and then you're going to just let it dry and you're ready to use it. So isn't that cool? So really, really easy to do. So now we have a new product that was specifically designed regarding freestanding lace, and it is our sponsor for the Between Friends today. So this new product is called Stable Grip. So Stable Grip is specifically for use with Snap Hoop Monster, and it's going to prevent stabilizer creep. And that is really important when we're stitching our freestanding lace, or really any design. We don't want anything to move when we're stitching, but when it starts to kind of creep in a little bit, your last stitch that runs around the edge, that's usually a satin stitch edge, it might not actually touch the rest of your lace, and then your lace design could fall apart in certain areas. And I'll show you what I mean. I've got some good examples, and I've got some bad examples that I wanted to share with you. So let me flip over here to my camera, and I'll show you some things that I've got here. So a lot of these things, so if you guys know me, I am absolutely in love with any of our dime embroidery software. And so most all of these things were either design collections that we have here at Dime, or they were created in our My Lace Maker software. And so like this cute little freestanding lace gift card holder. So that is very shiny, you can see there, and this was actually created in our My Lace Maker software. It's actually a built-in design in that My Lace Maker software. So if you have that program, this is a really easy design to make. But I just use that for my gift card holder there, and this cute little shape is built in, and I just added the little polka dots, and I also put Mylar under my lace. Okay, so we talked about stitching over Mylar on another episode that I was on, and you really just place it down and stitch your lace over top, and then you can see the shine through the lace design. Okay, now here's a little lace ornament that I created in My Lace Maker, and then here's another option. This one I also put Mylar under. This one is not as noticeable, the shine, as it is on that, I think, but lace ornaments are always great. And freestanding snowflakes, I love to just scatter these on the table for the holidays with my table decor. Makes it really cute. And then these little lace charms here are a design collection that we have that you can find at our DZGNS called, we've got holiday charms and we've got lace charms. So there's several different options for you. But I wanted to point out some different things that I've done here. So this particular snowflake has Mylar in it. So if I bring it up, hopefully you can see a little bit of the sparkle. But this one, I put rhinestones on the edge. So you can embellish your lace a step further if you want. So you don't have to stop with just the freestanding lace. These cute little bells here are stitched with gold and metallic thread, gold and silver metallic thread. This is our Kingstar metallic gold and our Kingstar metallic silver there. And so were all these snowflakes. These are metallic thread. Okay. And if I flip them over, you can see that they look just as good on the back as they do on the front. Now, if I hadn't flipped them over, you might not even realize which side was which. So you can use the metallic thread. Just your regular embroidery thread works great. You can use rayon, polyester, variegated. Look at these beautiful earrings here. These are part of one of our jewelry lace collections. This is one spool of thread, variegated, to make these cute little earrings. And so these are great, like all of these I feel like are great gift ideas. Bookmarks. So if you've got someone that loves to read, making a freestanding lace bookmark is a great option for them. And you could personalize it to make it even more special. Here I used variegated thread again. These are from our lace charm collection, this cute little sweater here. And I actually just put a little piece of wire to make it like a wine glass charm. Okay, so lots of things that you can do for the holidays and with gifts. Here I just glued this onto my little piece of cork to make a faux leather looking napkin ring. So isn't that really cool? And this was also, again, our metallic thread. So green metallic and red Kingstar metallic thread for those really cute napkin rings. And here the same thing, and then just adding like some little jingle bells just adds like a really cute little extra pop of flair there, right? Okay, so now that we've seen all the good, let's talk about how it can go bad. So I stitched my little design here, and this is just a miniature version of this. This was created in our My Lace Maker software, so I can make things any size that I want. So I just made a miniature version of this. Okay, and so my miniature version, let me move some of these things out of the way here, is a really it was a really easy way for me to test and play with my new product, the Stable Grip. Okay. And then I stitched one. I didn't even cut this one out because I wanted you guys to see. You can tell where it doesn't line up. Okay. So when that happens, if you've ever had that happen, your stabilizer is pulling in and you need to make sure that it's not moving. And I've got a couple of other examples here. Look at these. These are a lace design that we partnered with Kimberbell for. And look at all these little elements. Talk about a lot of stitches. So this cute little design here has tons of embroidery on top of the freestanding lace. And look at the bottom piece here. You can see that it does not attach. That's because my stabilizer was pulled through and wasn't in the right place with that last stitch. So I'd had some shifting. The same thing happened here, but in another direction because of this little handle on the outside. But you can see I've got a little piece of thread there. That is because my outline wasn't perfectly lined up anymore. Now, it's not the design. I've stitched these designs and they are beautiful, but my stabilizer shifted during the process of stitching. So that's what caused this to happen. Okay, so let me show you the Stable Grip. And then we'll see if we've got any questions about freestanding lace. Okay, so Stable Grip is an attachment for your snap hoop monster. Okay, so here I've got my 8x8 hoop and I've attached my Stable Grip. So I'm going to pull these off so that you can see the process too, but they just fit right over the magnet. Now I have stabilizer only in the hoop. Okay, when you're hooping just stabilizer, sometimes we're doing an in the hoop project. Sometimes we're doing a freestanding lace, or you might be doing patches on a water soluble stabilizer. All of those instances are when you're going to want to use Stable Grip. Okay, so this is my 8x8 hoop. I specifically chose this one because I wanted to show you the different sizes of the Stable Grip. So Stable Grip comes in 3 different sizes. So we've got a 9-inch, the 7-inch, and the smaller 4-inch. Okay, and a combination of these will fit any of your embroidery hoops that you already own. Now, these only work with Snap Hoop Monster. Okay, so now to use them, and so even though this is an 8x8 hoop, I do have to use 2 of the medium ones on the top. Okay, so once you have your stabilizer hooped, you're just going to place the Stable Grip over the magnetic top and then just kind of make sure you push it all the way down so that it gets completely seated. There is an arrow on Stable Grip and it tells you to put the arrow facing the embroidery field, which is inside of the hoop. Now, the reason that we want it this way is because one edge, and this is really hard to show on my camera, but I do have an image that I think will really show it. Oh, that might show it a little bit better there. So one side of Stable Grip is actually longer than the other side, and that's because of this area here for the attachment. If I were to put this on backwards, then I cannot push this down flush because of that long edge is actually hitting that metal there where the attachment is. So make sure you put them the right direction, and then I can just push that down, and you can actually kind of see that stabilizer tighten up whenever I did that. Now, even though this is an 8x8, none of our hoops that are embroidery hoops are actually square. So if I try to use the other 9-inch here, it's too long. Okay, so then I'm going to use the 7-inch, which is the medium size, and I can just put that on and press that down. And then here again as well. Okay, and then now my stabilizer is drum tight. And because the stable grip, another thing that's very hard to show on the camera, so if we look kind of over here toward the edge, it actually pushes the stabilizer so that it is flush with the bottom of the metal frame. Now, this is not going to scratch your embroidery machine because it actually has your stabilizer behind it, but also it stops even with my hoop. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So it stops even with my hoop, and my stabilizer is under it, so it's not going to be touching the bed of my embroidery machine. Okay, and you've got a little bit of space here on each end because our snap hoop monster kind of curves, but I have found that if you have the majority of the space covered with your stable grip, then it gives you enough stabilization. So like this little area here, I didn't have any issues whatsoever with pulling. Now, this piece of stabilizer here is the no-show stabilizer, which is something that I use quite regularly when I'm using my my in the hoop projects. So I tend to do this. Also, if you're piecing a block in the hoop, that's the stabilizer that I tend to use as well. And then I've got my other hoops here. I've got my 5x7. So let's switch this out. And I'm going to grab my 5x7 hoop here. And I, for some reason, don't have my shield. Oh, there he is. So sometimes I sit things down in my sewing room and it doesn't get put back where it's supposed to be. Okay, so here's our snap hoop monster. Let's hoop a piece of sew and wash. Okay, remember, this is the type of stabilizer that we're going to be stitching our freestanding lace on. And this freestanding lace was the entire concept behind the creation of this product. Okay, so I would separate my frame, place my stabilizer down. Now I have a lot of extra because I didn't know which size hoop I was going to be sharing with you. And then you're going to put your magnetic frame in place. Okay. And you can pull this kind of snug, make sure everything's lined up, but you don't even have to pull it like really tight because once I put my my stable grip, it's going to hold it in place. Okay, so this is a 5x7 hoop. Okay, so then you can see here that my long one is too long, so I can use my medium one for each side. And then I just push that down. Now, if it's not perfectly lined up with the metal base, it won't let you push it down. So make sure you line those up. Can put this one on this side, and then I can press to make sure that's down tight. And now the top, my medium size is too long for the top. You can see there. So I would use these short ones. And again, you've got a little bit of distance here, but I have tested this and they work really well, even with that little bit of excess down on the edge. So, and then now my stabilizer is nice and tight. And what's happening is it's creating a resistance. You know how your standard hoops have that inner ring that is placed inside of the outer ring, and so your stabilizer kind of goes through the hoop and up and over, which creates a little bit more resistance. So that's what's happening here with the stable grip as well. So when you're stitching your freestanding lace, if your stabilizer shifts, that might be what causes that design to have some stitch out issues. Okay, so now when you're stitching the freestanding lace, again, you can use all kinds of embroidery thread. I did grab a couple of these just to kind of share with you. So this is our 40 weight exquisite thread, but Dime has a line called Fine Line, which is 60 weight embroidery thread. And this is another great option for your freestanding lace. If you want soft freestanding lace, I'm going to talk about the rinsing that we do, but you can also use a 60 weight thread as well. So the Fine Line is 60 weight, and it does tell me on the top there that it's 60 weight thread. And you can see that the cone is a different color, so we can make sure that we differentiate the 60 weight from the 40 weight. But your regular embroidery thread is what you're going to use, and you want to match again the top and the back. So your bobbin thread, wind it to match so that your freestanding lace looks great on the top and the bottom. So what do you guys think about that? So let's see if we've got any questions that we want to address, and then I'll show you a little bit more here. And I've got some tips for you for freestanding lace as well. So let's see what we've got here. So, Reen, thank you. And Reen says, great new product. So, thank you, Reen. And then Callie says, nice new product. Yes, love it. And so, it's definitely been helpful as well. So, and then here I see we've got a question from Billy. So, Billy says, just received mine and can't wait to use them. Oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong one. So Billy, great. Thank you. I'm glad that you got those. And so we can't wait to hear what you think about them. So, and then Retha Ranky says, can these be used for applique when using no-show mesh? Yes. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about freestanding type embroidery. So like if we do in the hoop coasters, that's really kind of like an applique. So it's really designed for when you're hooping stabilizer only. So stabilizer only projects. I have tried it with a piece of quilting cotton in there and it did do okay. But really that's not, we don't need it. If we just had, so if our stabilizer was just a little bit thicker, sometimes it doesn't creep through my hoop. So then this is really just an improvement of something that we have been doing all along anyway. And just, it kind of gives you some stitch insurance to make sure everything is going to line up, right? And so Becky Munn says, for those of us who have freestanding embroidery machines that require 90 weight bobbin thread, can you still use the 60 weight and the 40 weight matching thread? So yes, if you're working, Becky, with a home embroidery machine, and so I have a multi-needle embroidery machine and a single needle flatbed embroidery machine, and both of those I can actually use a 40 weight thread in them. It just might have your tension. Your tension may just be a little bit different with the 40 weight instead of the thinner thread, which, as you mentioned, was your 90 weight bobbin thread. I wouldn't adjust it because since for freestanding lace, you're seeing the back and the front. So your stitches may pull tighter because you're using a thicker thread because of the way your bobbin thread is set, but it's going to be okay because you're really making kind of a reversible design. And so, yeah, your 60 weight thread, your 40 weight thread will work in the bobbins. We use it in our flatbed machines all the time. And I have a multi-needle that I also use in. The multi-needle, I had to have a separate bobbin winder to make that work, but it still definitely works. So, and then Linda Johnson, yes, thank you, Linda. So I actually have on freestanding lace earrings. And then here I actually have lace just attached to my shirt here, which is something else that I was going to talk to you about, is different ways that you could attach it. So if you actually stitch your freestanding lace, but you want to attach it to something, you certainly can. And I've got some examples. We'll show that here in just a bit under the camera. So is this the only freestanding lace project? So we're just talking about freestanding lace in general. And so not just specifically one project. So we have lots of designs at Dime. We have people that have My Lace Maker software. And so any of those, or if you have freestanding lace designs from any other company, this would work with what we're talking about today. So we're just talking about how to stitch it, and then our new product that helps make that process even better. And then I've also got some attachment tips we're going to talk about, and then also some rinsing tips that we'll be talking about. But any freestanding lace project, Lisa, will work with what we're talking about today. So yeah, great question as well. So, and then Laurie says, I have had great results with no-show mesh and in the hoop projects. They were fantastic. Thank you for sharing. So I love hearing that, Lori. Thank you. And then Carolyn Wolf, she said, I'm working on quilt as you go and embroidering a design for a block, but Snap Hoop Monster, because of 3 layers, isn't secure. So are there additional magnets? So Carolyn, for the 3 layers in the Snap Hoop Monster, I know that I do quilts all the time, and I do not have a problem with my magnets holding my 3 layers of my quilt. But that being said, depending on the thickness of your batting, And some people are using a thicker fabric other than just cotton. Like if you're doing a denim quilt, or maybe something that has really plush fabric, then the thicker your quilt sandwich, of course, the further away your magnet will be from the metal. So of course it's not going to hold as tight. We do not have additional magnets for that, but I will give you some tips, even though we're not necessarily talking about quilting. But make sure your magnet is lined up with the base, and also make sure that you support the weight of your quilt. I know I say this all the time and people say, oh, but I am supporting it. Well, you have to really make sure that it is floating along as the machine is stitching, so that the weight of that does not pull against the magnet. So hopefully that'll help you. But just so you know, the thing that we're talking about today, the stable grip, it does not work with thick items. This is really meant for projects with stabilizer only. It's going to hold your stabilizer nice and tight. So hopefully that will help you with your project, because I know we're all trying to get our stuff done. We're down to the wire, right? So, and then Retha says, I do lots of Kimberbell, and I love how they use with and I love they can be used with a no-show mesh. Absolutely. So the stable grip can be used with any cutaway stabilizer, and also if you're working on patches as well. So I'll show you that, and then we'll talk about our a couple of examples of attaching your freestanding lace. So let me head back over to my camera here, and then we'll get that back up. There we go. And so I also wanted to show you, if you're stitching patches, which are another great holiday gift idea. So here I stitched this one. I just left it in the hoop. So this stabilizer is a heavy duty water soluble stabilizer. And this is what we use when we are stitching patches or our freestanding designs. Like I like to do my coasters on this because it has a clear, since it's clear, when I tear it away, I don't see any white fuzzy stuff. And if I want to, I can rinse it as well. But you can see that I've used these also with the patch, because patches sometimes can be the same thing. We're stitching on stabilizer only, and it can really pull, and things might not line up at the end. And just to give you a little more inspiration, you can use patches. Who out there loves doing patches for the holidays? So I've got a couple of, oh, I dropped one. Let me grab this. So you can use patches as little gift tags. Look at that. So that little Christmas tree. And here I've got a little candy cane, and you can see I did double-sided. So I stitched it on this here and just ripped it away, and I've got like freestanding patches that have the backing on there, and I matched my thread around the edge, you can see, so it looks good on the front and the back, and then just tied some little twine, and I can hang this off of a package. You could have put a monogram, something like that. That would be another great use of it. But stitching patches, that's another really good example. Okay. Now, if after you stitch your freestanding lace, let me move some of these things out of the way here, and then I'm going to talk to you about these sizes as well of the stable grip. So after you stitch your freestanding lace, if it's something that you want to attach to something else, okay? So like these little examples right here, these are great. So these charms, anytime you're stitching a freestanding lace design that has like a little eyelet, these could be charms for necklaces, earrings, wine glass charms. And then all you need is some ribbon, or maybe your Christmas tree hooks would be great for anytime you've got an eyelet. If you own My Lace Maker, you can add an eyelet, which is what I did here. Now, if you are working with something that you wanted to add like this, I just did hot glue. Okay, so I just used my strip of my cork and then just added some hot glue to glue that on. And here's another example. Did you ever think you could do lace for men? So here's a cute little mustache, lace mustache, that I just used some fabric glue and glued it to this little toiletry kit here. Okay, so you could have your beard or mustache grooming supplies in there. But you can also stitch it on too by hand or by machine. So here I did sewed my button on, and I did this by hand, and I sewed through all of those layers to attach this to this little hat here. Okay, so that's another really great thing. And this is another good gift idea. You could put something, more winter-like here for your design. That is the lace garden flower collection that we have that Reen Wilcoxon created. So that makes great embellishments there. But you can also use your embroidery, or not your embroidery machine, your sewing machine to sew on. So this cute little jacket was made years ago by Catherine Martinez. She used to do some stuff for us, and she stitched these designs directly on this jacket, but then these were attached with a sewing machine. So I'll flip to the inside to show you what I mean. You can see that this big one was embroidered on, but then that was just sewn on with your sewing machine. Okay, so you can sew these down with your sewing machine. You can do hand stitching, you can do fabric glue, hot glue, lots of different things that you can do with your freestanding lace, right? So I love to attach them to all kinds of projects. So, and I really think the holidays for lace, I just absolutely love. Okay, so now let me show you one more thing for the stable grip before we go on to our tips. Okay, so stable grip, now that we've seen what they are and why we need them, come in 3 different sizes, and we actually have a bundle package as well. Okay, so we've got the package of the 4-inch, 7-inch, and 9-inch. Okay, and each package has 4 in one package, but we also have a bundle package that has 2 of each sizes. So 2 9-inch, 2 of the 7, and 2 of the 4-inch. So I love the bundle package because that combination can really work for pretty much any of your hoops. And in fact, let me show you one more tip here on the sizes. So I'm going to go back to this size. You can put 2 together as well. So I've got the smaller one here, and if I push that down, I could do that. Let me grab one more of the smaller ones here, and then I can put that. So you can use the variety pack, but you can make combinations. So I put 2 of the smaller ones here, and then I've got the medium one and the large one. So those combinations really will work with pretty much any of your hoops that you already own. So the size that you need to work with. So hopefully that helps you with picking out, but you can order the single packs of that comes with 4, but it's just one size, or you can order the bundle, or maybe you want both. So really great product, loving it, really helpful. And of course, we always have our special product on special, and then we also have our free ship code is 75 free ship. So take advantage of that while it is available. Okay, so now let's see it in action. So I've got this little video here that shows the stable grip in action. So there's music that plays, but I'm just going to talk through it. So it's a U-shaped product that is metal that fits over your snap hoop monster. That picture right there, you can really see the difference in the sizes. Now remember, these are for use with stabilizer that's going to be cutaway, or the water soluble mesh type, or the heavy duty film works great. And then it prevents your stabilizer from creeping in whenever you're doing your embroidery on the stabilizer only. So our patches, our freestanding lace, and our in the hoop projects, piecing in the hoop, that's another project that we do on a stabilizer only. So it comes in 4-inch, 7-inch, 9-inch, and then you can have a bundle that has all 3 sizes. So the bundle has 2 of each size, and then the package that has 1 size has 4 of each. So really cool, right? And so I took these screenshots from that video because here's a really good picture of the difference. So you can see the one side is longer than the other, and so the longer edge goes in toward the sewing field so that it can actually press against the stabilizer all the way down to the base. And you can kind of see that right there. That's a really good close-up of how it pushes that down. And so now the stabilizer has to travel behind that, up and behind. And then here's just another thing of how it looks on the machine, so you can see that a little bit longer. So they stay on, they don't scratch your bed of your machine, and because their stabilizer is there, but also they are going to be flush with the bottom of your hoop while you're stitching. So right? So really cool, really easy, but it's a great way to make sure that your lace design stitches out beautifully. Okay, so now here, before we go on to our free design for this week, I wanted to share some tips with you. So we get this question all the time about, I don't want stiff lace, I want soft lace. Or if you do normally produce soft lace and you need it to be a little bit stiffer. So the stabilizer that we use, the water soluble stabilizer, that is the woven mesh style, you can rinse that more or less to determine the stiffness of your lace. Okay. So if you need lace that's really stiff, like you can see there, that image, we've got a lace bowl. That's another thing that is made out of freestanding lace that we all love. So the freestanding lace bowl that we need it to be stiff for, you want to just do a rinse quick enough to dissolve the stabilizer. Okay. If you want soft lace, then rinse repeatedly with fresh water, and also the temperature of the water. So the hotter the water, it's going to dissolve more of that stabilizer, making your freestanding lace softer. Okay. And if you want the softest possible, this is a tip from our friend Deborah Jones, that you add a little bit of fabric softener to the water when you're rinsing. Do you remember how we used to use fabric softener to dissolve the adhesive on wallpaper? Well, the fabric softener can help just finish dissolving the rest of that stabilizer to make your lace even as soft as it can get. Not to mention, it smells good when it's all done. So there's your tip for making soft lace versus if you need stiff lace, don't rinse as much out. If you rinse too much out, you can reshape it by saving some of that water where it rinsed out, and putting it in a spray starch bottle, spraying it, molding it, and letting it dry. So if you happen to rinse out too much. So, okay. So, and then Cheryl says, will you be making them for baby lock hoops? So I'm assuming you mean the stable grip. So the stable grip fits any of our dime snap hoop monster except for Bernina, unfortunately. So the Bernina hoops are shaped different. So the stable grip does not go around the curved edges of the Bernina hoops. And also on the Bernina hoops that have a narrower magnet on the left-hand side, the stable grip doesn't work there. So stable grip can be used with any snap hoop monster from Dime, other than your Bernina hoops. So, but we do already have snap hoop monster for baby lock. I'm assuming that's what you meant, Cheryl. If it's something different, then just tell me that over in the chat. And then Mary says, I got here late. What do they help? What do they do to help? So they keep your stabilizer, Mary, from creeping in and your freestanding lace outline or any of your designs that you're doing not line up. So sometimes our stabilizer creeps in because the stitches are pulling so much. And so these are going to prevent that and hold your stabilizer really tight in your snap hoop monster. So remember, stable grip works with snap hoop monster. It does not work with your standard hoops. And then Chris says, where are you from? Oh, she's talking to someone else. I saw the question mark, Chris. And so, so she's linking up with some friends there. So I was looking to see if we have any other questions before we go on. So if you do have a question and I missed it, then let me know. So then Lisa says, are these only for freestanding lace? I think we talked about that earlier. They're not only for freestanding lace, but any of your in the hoop projects that require you to hoop stabilizer only. So a lot of times we're doing stabilizer only when we're doing in the hoop projects, or when we're doing piecing in the hoop, if we're stitching freestanding lace or patches. Those are the four that off the top of my head. If you're using stabilizer only, stable grip can help make sure they hold those tight so that your stabilizer doesn't creep through your hoop. So Okay, and then would stable grip work with a light medium fabric? I do think that it would, Sharon. I did test this with my quilting cotton, and even though I could get it pressed down, but as my design was stitching, they kind of rose up a little bit, but it still held them. So they're really not designed for use with fabric, but if you do have a thin, slippery fabric, I definitely think that they would be helpful. Like if you're stitching on, say, like an organza type fabric. That probably would help. If you were stitching on tulle, that probably would help. Although the tulle, I would be very gentle because you don't want them to tear your tulle, unless, of course, you didn't need all that excess fabric. So I would be very gentle. That's why we don't say with tearaway, because it will kind of poke through your tearaway stabilizer. So just be gentle with it when you're working. But yeah, I do think if it was a really light, slippery fabric, especially a woven fabric, I do think that they would be helpful for that as well. So very good question. I love that. Okay, so after since we've seen that, so your stable grip is already at your elite dealer. So stable grip, new product, is already at your elite dealers throughout the entire country. So we have a group of elite dealers that know that you like to have the product as soon as it's released and as soon as we announce it. So they go through the trouble of pre-ordering new product from us so that they can have it in store whenever you arrive. So we have this little video that shows all of our elite dealers throughout the entire country. So let's take a look. So your check out your local dealer, and so they may already have the stable grips in for you, but you can also order from our website, and you can use the ship code 75 ships free. That's on any order $75 or more. So 75 ships free will get you the free shipping on any order $75 or more. So if you're ordering, several of those packs, you're probably pretty close to that already. Okay, so and I did see one question here before we go on to our on the house that I thought was a really good point. So Arlene Olson said would be good for projects that are floated. Absolutely. Thank you for putting that in, Arlene. So when we float, that means that we hoop the stabilizer and then we put our item on top of that, and then we usually have a basting stitch or either some basting spray to hold it in place. So yeah, that's absolutely another good point. I also wanted to mention too that the stable grip does work with our snap hoop monster for multi-needle. So if you have our multi-needle hoops, it does work for that as well. And then Carol says, how many stable grips do I need for the two? So I put one on all sides. So if for your hoop, I put one on the left, right, top, and bottom. So minimum of 4. You could certainly try it with 2. It probably depends on the design that you're working with, on whether or not that's going to hold enough. But I want maximum hold, so I'm going to put it on all 4 sides of my hoop if possible. Okay, so really great questions as well. So and then Bobby says, I don't see the stable grip bundle to order. So there should be a drop down list whenever you select it, Bobby, where it says the 4-inch, 7-inch, 9-inch, or the bundle should be in that drop down list. If not, I'll hopefully there's a team member listening that can check that and maybe post in the chat as well to help get you what you need for your order. So, okay, so you guys know that every week we have a free design for you that we call On the House. So the free design you can get also while you're over at dzgns.com shopping. You can download the free designs over there. So today is our last Facebook Live of the year. And so it is our last On the House design. So any of our On the House designs for the entire year, you can still download, but they do go away after the first of the year. So make sure that you download everything that you want before the end of the year when they go away. Now, if you download and you use our On the House design, we would love it if you share on social media the project you made and then also include these hashtags so we can find them. So hashtag Dime Sew Along, hashtag On the House, or hashtag Exquisite Thread. We search for all of those and it'll just help us find your projects and what you've made with the free On the House designs. So, and speaking of what all of you guys have made, let's see this short highlight reel of what you guys have been stitching with your free On the House designs. Such cute projects. So I always love seeing what everybody is making. So are you guys ready? So this week's free On the House design is this cute little cocoa mug. Ah, isn't that adorable? So if you've needed a design, then for the holidays to put on a tea towel or another holiday project to give as a gift, this is a great option. So we always include our exquisite thread colors because look at the shading on that cup. So to me, having an entire line of thread is very important when you're working with designs that have shading like you see there. So we've included our exact exquisite thread numbers so that you could stitch that design exactly as we did there. So make sure you download it. Remember, they're only good to the end of the year. So download the free cocoa mug, but any of the designs that we released all year, you can still download as well. And so I did see a couple of other questions I'll answer really quickly. So I see somebody asked if we ship to Canada. If you add it to your cart and put in your address, international shipping does apply, but I do think that you will be able to ship to Canada, but it will have international shipping rates. Just so make sure you enter and try that. And then also the stable clip is different than the stable grip. Stable clip is for attaching your stabilizer to your metal base, and it holds it while you're putting your magnet on. So stable clip is going to hold your stabilizer while you're hooping, and stable grip is going to hold it while you are sewing. So two different products, two different uses, but great question. So all right, guys. So that's the last thing that I have for you. But Eileen will be back after the new year. Can you believe we're saying that? New year 2025 is our next episode of Between Friends. So Between Friends on January the 9th at 1 p.m. Central. So I'll miss seeing you guys for the rest of the year. But I know that we'll all be enjoying time with family. So don't forget to grab your stable clips while they're on special. Also, check your local Elite dealer. They already have those in stock. They order in advance because they know that you like having a the new product when it's announced. So make sure you check with them. So until we have another Between Friends, I will say bye for now. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year's, or whatever you celebrate. Enjoy your time over the holiday season, and we will see you, all of us from Dime, in the new year. Thank you for being here.